In today's episode, we are highlighting commercial insurance. You want more commercial insurance, and we are giving you the most downloaded clips and tips from last year. With that being said, let's start the show.
It is very difficult to find that in commercial. Commercial is much more about grinding. And to that regard, you really have to, you really have to niche out as quickly as possible. And this is one of the early mistakes that I made in Rogue Risk. Let me reposition that. It wasn't a mistake. I did it because it was my reality. I launched, for people that don't know Rogue Risk or my story, I launched my agency March 9th of 2020. So 7 days before the zombie apocalypse hit upstate New York. So I launch, press release, to-dos, all the things. I'm emailing, everything's ready. I got, it's been 5 months of build up to this day. It was a Monday, March 9th. Launch, everything's going. I was going after gyms because I had, in a previous life, I'd been the CEO of a 6-location fitness franchise. So I knew how to speak the language. So I was like, I'm going to pound gyms. I'm going to use Cincinnati and Philadelphia's programs here in New York State. And I'm just going to go get this market. That's what I'm going to do. 7 days later, every single gym in the state is closed. Every single gym in the country is closed. And that is over. And what happened was I didn't sell a policy till the end of May. So I put 50 grand into all the things it takes to launch an insurance agency. And for the first 2.5 months, I didn't sell a single policy. I mean, it was COVID. I mean, they're literally showing pictures of people dying in the streets, right? So I have no idea what to do. I have no idea how I'm going to get this thing off the ground. And what I did was I just said, screw it, and went super broad, super fast. And I did that through creating, again, it's COVID, so there was nothing else to do. I just created a tremendous amount of YouTube videos that answered common questions, and I went really, really broad. I'm going to get to the answer to your question and the strategy I would actually recommend, but just kind of setting where this comes from. That strategy was great, particularly at that time for getting opportunities in the door. The problem was in commercial, yes, a BOP is a BOP is a BOP, and comp is relatively similar across class codes, but how you talk to business owners, even different Main Street business owners, can be substantially different. And I found that it was an enormous hurdle to jump, having a welder, a bakery, a consultant, a truck driver, every call, every lead was something different. And it was very, very difficult to manage that. So if I had to go back and do it again, COVID aside, right? So let's say COVID doesn't happen. Let's say I was starting today. What I would do instead is I would pick something I can talk about. If I'm moving into commercial for the first time, something I can talk to. What's your thing? Is it youth sports? Do you just love Main Street business and that's what you want to do? I would say you can class a lot of stuff in Main Street, but then you have to be a Main Street small business that's your niche. Or maybe you go after a certain class of business, like a cyber or a comp. Pick one thing that has enough breadth and just drive into that thing. And I know that's classic. It's not like monumental advice. We can get into the tactics and how I would do that. But if you're not, I see this mistake over and over and over again by personal lines agent heavy that move into commercial, is they go really broad, really fast to get opportunities, and they're getting pressure maybe from their carriers who they just got a commercial appointment with, or they're just feeling urgency because maybe they invested in a marketing campaign. Know that when you do any kind of marketing, you're going to get opportunities outside. Have a really strong filter at first and really just focus on one or two things, and you will be much more successful in the long term, because you can always add another niche. But if you go too broad too fast, you get overwhelmed with opportunities. Your service team gets overwhelmed. And it took us almost a year to unwind all the issues created by that because we went too broad too fast.
Let's talk about that, because riches are definitely in the niches. And right now, commercial insurance is being pushed by every carrier. Every carrier wants their hands on commercial business because it's typically good business and typically will lead into the personal line sales as well. Are you tired of falling short on your life insurance goals every single year? Are you tired of having a team that's not confident in life insurance sales conversations, not writing big premium, not writing the apps? Look, that's what the 30 Life in 5 Days Challenge is all about. We're going to teach you how to take every single service interaction that comes into your office and turn it into a sales opportunity. We're going to teach you how to intentionally prospect your current book of business. We're going to teach you and your team how to include life insurance on every single new business P&C sales conversation in a valued way that drives premium. It drives benefit. All right, every single conversation, every single time should be around life insurance. And that's exactly what the 30 Life in 5 Days Challenge is all about. The cart is officially open. Make sure you take advantage today because this challenge will sell out.
What's a class of business that you were really good at that nobody ever sends you? Everybody gets so focused on the hot list from the marketing people when they come in. And I joke about it. Anytime I speak in public, I use the same example. So I'm going to do it here too so everybody knows it's really me. Here's the deal. There's only so many silk flower distributorships that generate $400,000 in premium in the United States. There is a wholesaler that every single time they've come in to visit us for the last 15 years, there's been a silk flower distributorship on there. I'm not going after that class of business. Number one, guy, I know you've been in 30 other agencies in the last 2 weeks and everybody else is going to be going after your hot list. I don't want to go after what everybody else is going after. If the industry goes left, I'm going hard right. Let me get to the underwriter who really is going to be the one that's going to make money if we write business, find out what they're good at, what they never see, and here's why. Number one, you can be their hero. If I go get that and they write it and they bind it, I'm going to have a never-ending supply of accounts they wish they would have gotten before, but the agent didn't represent it right. Number two, if they come back to me and their quote isn't good, coverage isn't right, pricing's not good, I can now hold them accountable and say, look, you told me you were good at this. You told me you were good at it, but you don't ever see enough of it. I need you to sharpen the pencil and come back to me with better terms because this doesn't seem to be telling me the same story that I heard from you. And so if you can ask the underwriter that question and get them to answer you with a class or a couple of classes of business, you've got a leg up on your competition because other agents aren't asking that question.
It's good. I have a question though. I want to go back real fast because we're from the personal lines world. All right. We've done some commercial, but the 3-year agreement, is that a contract or is that just like a gentleman's handshake?
It's a handshake agreement. But when we explain to them why, they understand it, right? I've got a whole bunch of handshake agreements, but I also have a formal engagement letter that we use. But we have rules, right? Like a lot of the time, I see producers waste so much time that they don't need to waste because they just missed it on the front end. They didn't qualify correctly. They're letting garbage go into their pipeline, so garbage is coming out of their pipeline. They don't purify their leads lists before they put them into marketing systems and everything else, and that's really what creates the problem. Think about how many times producers say, oh, I was going to quote it, but I never could get the loss runs, or I couldn't get this or couldn't get that. Question number one, will you give me the information I need when I need it in a reasonable amount of time? If the answer is yes and I don't get it, you get one get out of jail free card. If I still don't have it, I'm cutting you loose and moving on to the next person. I don't have time to chase you for information. I can't want it more than you want it for yourself. Number two, do I get access to your people? I need to talk to your frontline supervisors, your executives, and your hourly employees. I want to get a flavor for the culture of what's really going on here. Producers, you can learn more about a company smoking a cigarette on the loading dock with the receiving clerk than you're ever going to learn in the conference room talking to the executives. I don't smoke, but I'll stand back there while they do because they're going to tell you everything. Number three, if I come back and show you reasonable work product that proves that we have the ability to fix the problems that you have right now, do you have the ability to fire Bob or Sally and hire me? If I don't get yeses to those three questions, we ain't going to do the dance. Got to have it up front. If they don't get me the information, they're gone. If they don't give me the access to the people, they're gone. And if I don't have the right person, I will not meet with them until the right person is in the room too.